Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Albany's finest sports show, UA Overtime. I'm here with three of the finest sports minds in the capital region. We got my man John Dorn, we got Teddy Doku, and welcome back, Carl. I'm not even going to pronounce your last name. I love you, buddy.
All right, man.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
We got a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk about the start of the NBA season. We're talking about this. We're getting into the thick of the NFL season. We got a pretty crazy controversy we're going to start with. But the whole Richie Incognito thing, we're going to start with my man John. What are your thoughts today on this whole situation?
It's really tough is what it is, because on one hand you can say, oh, well, this happens in NFL locker rooms on a daily basis, he shouldn't have reacted the way he did. But on the second hand, you don't know exactly what was said and exactly what was done and exactly how Jonathan Martin perceived everything and what his situation personally might be. So it's tough to weigh out if you weren't actually in the locker room.
Teddy, I know you got some pretty colorful thoughts on this.
Yeah, you know what, honestly, this reminds me of the New Orleans bounty thing with Sean Payton and all them. Let's be realistic. NFL teams have been doing that kind of stuff for years, and the fact that the Saints, this reminds me of the Incognito thing too. The Saints, the fact that they got caught, the press jumped on it, blew it up, loved the fact that the NFL was doing something, dangerous, under the radar, something like that. They ate that story up. This Incognito thing is the same thing. Older players, when it comes to rookies, second-year guys, they mess around with them in the locker room behind the scenes. They're playing with them. They're almost like a little hazing thing. It happens in all NFL locker rooms. And the fact that this story surfaced to the public, it got blown up, and the media jumped on it, and they loved it. And now it's been talked about 24/7, and it's becoming a whole different thing. But if you notice, the Dolphins players and staff that's been interviewed, they all are basically like, you know what, this is ridiculous. You're bringing bad press on our team. We don't need this right now. They need to focus on the season. And honestly, I think it's just a distraction and it's just a story for people that don't really know the NFL that well.
Carl?
Yeah, Teddy brings up a good point. I think that people don't really understand what actually goes on in the locker rooms. Even though this is a common thing in NFL locker rooms, we have to kind of take a step back and realize that football is an aggressive sport. Teammates have to be aggressive to other teammates, and this is the first time we really see where this comes out in the media. People portray it as something that it's more than, and the other thing is we don't really have all the details. If we had more details, eventually we're going to know what really happened, what Incognito's actions were, and what Martin's intentions were, because people are saying that no one saw this coming. No one saw that he was affected by it until
Tannehill said that if you asked a couple weeks ago who Martin's best friend on the team was, he would have sent Incognito.
He said huge to me.
Because I feel like if I have best friends I goof around with. I've obviously never left a voicemail like that was left on Zach Martin's phone, but sometimes I've messed around with my friends and said some things maybe I regret, but they're my friends, and I feel like if that was his best friend.
Yeah, and Tannehill's comments, that makes you think
that's
more
your
about
quarterback. He knows his offensive line.
He knows he has a good perception of what's going on, but because he said that makes you think more into what is inside Jonathan Martin's head, and there might be a bigger problem here.
And they said he's emotionally distressed, so that plays a part in it. So we don't really know.
That could be the
We don't know what's going on
here
in his head, because he's the one who's coming out with all these reports about being taunted and abused, but in reality, this is a man who's emotionally disturbed, so we don't really know if those are accurate. So we have to wait and find out.
The media loves that stuff, taunting and all that. They jump on it. They bring in the story. Breaking news.
They're making this
just in, like, blah, blah, blah. They want the viewers. Everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, Incognito's a racist. This is going on in NFL locker rooms.
And also, Incognito has a history of this. We shouldn't be surprised. Incognito's been – they had the Rams GM who cut Incognito a couple of years back. He has a past of this, so we shouldn't be surprised.
He got kicked off the Nebraska team. He got kicked off the
So they're making this –
Rams
I mean, of
team.
course, this is a story that the media is jumping on. That I don't know how much water this story holds, because we talked about this before the show. This is going on in every locker room. And here's the thing: I don't want to sound, what's the word? Insensitive. Thank you. I don't want to sound insensitive to Zach Martin, but he's a 320-pound man. Antrell Rowe brought up this. Antrell Rowe talked about this,
said he's as
and
much
he got in some hot water because he said, "You're a grown man. Stand up for yourself." I agree with him. If you're 320 pounds and somebody's making you pay $15,000, who's to say you have to pay that?
There's that point. there's also the point that you don't know what Jonathan Martin's personal situation is.
Exactly.
You just don't know, which is
Right.
why
There's too many things. It's hard.
There's a
'cause
lot of
I don't
variables.
know the gentleman.
Exactly.
There's too many things.
and we're not there, so it's tough.
Exactly. We don't know what's going on in his head. Incognito does have that past, which makes it a little bit controversial, but I think it's just like a big brother, little brother thing in NFL locker rooms. That's the way I see it, and I don't know.
He has the past, but what's really
Listen,
interesting to me.
What I don't like is the racism that was used. I don't I obviously do not condone any of that. That stuff is hideous. There's no room for that. But the thing is here, what people said was they were best friends.
That's what
They
I'm
were
saying.
best friends. So
Yeah.
I feel like if they were best friends, like the people said, I don't know, maybe that type of stuff was commonplace for them. And I feel like
That's another debate, then.
Yeah, this is a whole other story that I feel like there are too many layers to it that we just don't know.
And it's
But
impossible to know unless you were
It's
there.
a hard story for us to really analyze from thousands of miles
Hey,
away.
maybe Martin's a little lonely, man. He
Who
wants some
knows?
attention. I don't know.
Maybe he needs a girlfriend. I don't know.
He needs a-
I
I'll
don't
tell you
know.
what, he's not going to
It's
get
wifey
welcome
season.
back.
Yeah,
He's
no.
not going
Yeah.
to get welcome
No.
back. Those
Nope.
teammates are not happy with him.
All right, well, that'll do it for the first quarter. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the second quarter. We're talking more NFL.
Lights, Camera, Action presents a great moment in cinema history.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
Welcome back, everyone. We're here back with the second quarter, back with my same crew. We're talking more NFL. We're talking about we're going to talk about the first half of the season in general before we go into our games of the week. We're going to start with my man Teddy. What we got?
Steve,
First thoughts.
Steve,
First thoughts of
honestly,
the first half of the season.
Everyone knows Peyton Manning is arguably the best quarterback in the league. Everyone knows Peyton Manning's going to come up on game day and do his thing. But I'm going to point out some exclamation points here. In 8 games, first of all, the Broncos had a bye week. In 8 games, Peyton has 29 touchdowns, almost 3,000 yards passing, and a 71.2% passer completion percentage. That is ridiculous. He is on. Not only is he on pace to break Drew Brees' passing record from last year, he's on pace to break Tom Brady's 50 touchdowns single-season touchdown record and retake his 2004 season when he threw 49. And not only is he on pace to break that record, he's on pace to get 58 touchdowns. Let me say that again. 58 touchdowns this season.
What do you say? Do you think he does?
It's amazing.
Does he break those records?
You know what? The way he's going right now, I could see
Can't bet against him.
51, 50. Yeah, exactly, John. You can't bet against him, man. He's an absolute stud.
Is he going to break it across the board, though? Is he going to do yards and touchdowns? What do we say?
Honestly,
With those receivers,
Thomas,
this is
both
the best
Thomases.
thing.
You've never seen Peyton with these weapons
I've
before.
never seen a receiving core like this ever.
Wes Welker in the slot, like it's just too. Peyton Manning's the general, you know. He's uncoachable. He's the smartest
He
player
is
in the
the
league.
coach. He
is the coach.
He is the shot caller.
And he's over 30,
Remember
by the
here,
way.
they're not going to have the head coach for a couple weeks, which could ruin continuity. Yeah. You know, John Fox is going to be out a couple weeks. I know that just might be a thing that could
And in
throw
my
off a
opinion,
team.
if they had a quarterback that was anybody other than Peyton Manning, it'd be a giant issue. But
Right.
Who knows?
What do you got? What do you got to say about the first half?
About the first half, I think the biggest surprise is it has to be, well, there's obviously the Chiefs and the Giants.
Right.
But aside from those two teams, it's definitely the Texans being as bad as they are and the
Yep.
Falcons being
Yep.
as bad as they are.
Absolutely.
Two Super Bowl contenders heading into the season.
I think there was a lot of
I
analysts that
completely agree.
picked the Titans-Falcons Super Bowl. So
Hey, I thought the.
who would have
Falcons
thought Case
way
Keenum would have
better.
been the quarterback on Sunday night with a healthy Matt Schaub playing the
Hey,
Indianapolis
Case
Colts?
Keenum looked good.
Case Keenum looked good.
He's got a good long
That's
ball.
another surprise.
He's a Houston guy too. He played at Houston.
He did.
He
That's
set all
right.
those records there. at
That's
Houston.
right. He did.
Yeah. So Carl, what do you got?
Well, obviously the biggest surprise of the whole season is the 9-0 Chiefs. Nobody saw that coming.
You kidding
They got
me?
Alex Smith. People are like, all right, they'll go 7-9. They'll win 6 or 7 games. They're undefeated, and they're making every team look like a joke. Now they're not destroying the teams, but their defense has been phenomenal. Their secondary is probably the best in the league, and nobody can get by them. Their offense has been average, but their defense has stepped up and gotten them those wins they needed. Now it's going to be interesting talking about Peyton Manning. They've got 2 games with them. You never know. Maybe Peyton Manning won't throw 58 touchdowns because he's playing the Chiefs twice.
Yeah, I think that
He
could also
hasn't
slow him
felt
down.
that.
This is a very good
Yeah.
Chiefs defense.
You know, no matter how hot the Chiefs are, they're doing absolutely amazing. when you know Peyton Manning's coming to your building or you're going to wherever Peyton Manning's going to be, you're going to always be a little nervous.
He's going to have success. He's going to have success, but I think this Chiefs defense will slow him down.
In my mind, this Chiefs team is the extremely successful version of the 2009-2010 Jets, with the dominant defense and with the running game, with the quarterback that manages games. They are the prototype.
Alex Smith deserves some serious credit, though, because you don't go from 2-14 to 9-0, and Andy Reid too. But if this were another year where Peyton Manning wouldn't do it, I'd be saying Alex Smith in the MVP race, because if you a quarterback, you pretty much the only roster turnover was the quarterback. Yeah. This is pretty much the same roster from a team that had 9 Pro Bowlers last year.
What was it?
How many Pro Bowlers they had?
I think it was 9.
They had 6. They had 6 Pro Bowlers. A lot of Pro Bowlers for a bad team. They make one change. And they're 9-0.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm just gonna go with the Giants 2-6. Really. Let's get it done in the second half. Let's go now. I won't say anything more about the Giants because I could talk for an hour. But we're gonna talk now about our games of the week. Teddy, what do you got?
I got Dallas versus New Orleans. Dallas is a 5-4 team. New Orleans is a 6-2 team. The battle of the quarterbacks. Romo and Breeze are on fire. They're both the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. Both of them are over 2,500 passing yards, and both of them have over 20 TDs this season. They're doing absolutely amazing. It's going to be a high-scoring game, power offense all day.
Johnny?
It's going to be a good matchup. I got, for Game of the Week, Chicago versus Detroit. 2 5-3 teams. Jay Cutler should be back early after he was supposed to miss a significant amount of time. He's back after that groin
battle
injury.
For the top of the NFC East.
And that could be
for the NFC North, excuse me.
And yeah, it's a nice division matchup. Calvin Johnson, of course, he's going to be explosive as ever. So that's my game of the week.
And my game of the week is Denver. They go to San Diego and face the Chargers. I think that everyone's kind of forgetting about Phillip Rivers. He's having a phenomenal year. He has numbers just like Peyton Manning. He's got a higher completion percentage, and you can't sleep on the Chargers. They beat Indianapolis earlier this year at home. So if Denver's going to lose a game this year early on before the Chiefs, it's going to be against the Chargers. They're a divisional opponent. They know their team better than anyone, and they're a tough team to beat at home.
Fun stat I saw on NFL Network. Peyton Manning has a losing record to like 4 quarterbacks ever. Phillip Rivers is one of them. Yeah. So, maybe. For my game of the week, I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers going into San Francisco. I think that's a really good game. The Panthers
upset alert.
Yeah, upset alert. I think the Panthers, they've been on a run here. They're 5-3. They're in the playoff hunt now. If they want to prove they're for real, they go into San Francisco and they get this done. I'm not calling that can happen, but I think this is a really good game.
And if they do that, watch out for Cam Newton the rest of the season.
Yes.
That kind of confidence boost for that team.
Yes, watch out. Watch out. We forgot about Cam Newton. We forgot about Cam Newton last year because of RG3 and Kaepernick and Russell Wilson. Cam Newton's a good football player. You look at it, he doesn't have that many weapons, and he gets it done.
He does.
So, I know the schedule has been a little easy these last couple of weeks, but this is where we'll see. This is where we'll see.
Right.
All right. That was it for the second quarter. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the third quarter. We're talking a little NBA. All right, we're back here in the third quarter talking about my personal favorite subject, the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
They're off to a rough start. Let's see if they can get out of it. Oh, this rough start is killing me. I can't sleep at night. Carl, are they going to get out of it? What's the deal?
It's only 4 games in. It's still early to say, but right now you got to be a little concerned. Melo's only one playing decent right now. Tyson Chandler just got hurt. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. We don't really know what his status is, but now this is the time when the captain's got to step up. Felton, he apologized to the fans the other day. He said, we're not playing New York Knicks basketball. Now is the time to step up, and honestly, this is Melo's time because he came to New York with the intentions to make this team a winning basketball club, but right now they don't look like that. Last year they were the number 2 seed, but it doesn't look like they're going to be top seed if they continue playing this way.
No. John, what do you
You
got?
said it. Last year they were the number 2 seed, and that was all because of their offense. They had the 3rd most efficient offense in the entire league, and that was because of the type of offense they ran, the small ball offense with 2 point guards and with Carmelo Anthony at the 4. This year they got away from that with the addition of Andrea Bargnani, and it had a really terrible effect on their offense. Tyson Chandler's hurt now. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to be very tough to manage, but it may just be sort of, in a way, a blessing in disguise for the offense, because now you're going to have to start somebody at the 5, whether it be Bargnani or Kenyon Martin. You're going to insert another
They're
point
also
guard.
getting J.R. Smith back, though.
That's true.
They're
They'll
also
help the
getting J.R.
offense.
Smith back.
But I have a number for you. While starting the big lineup, they've started that 3 out of the 4 games. They have run the 5th most isolation plays in the entire league, but they rank 27th in efficiency in those isolation plays. So with another point guard in the starting lineup for ball movement, could help the flow a little bit more.
Okay, Teddy?
John, I agree with you with the points efficiency. Carmelo is only shooting 37% from the field right now. He's their leading scorer. He's averaging 23 points a game, which is good, but it's not Melo status.
He's not playing efficiently at all.
He's not playing efficiently. Exactly. He's not playing
It's
efficiently.
still
at
early,
all.
though. Can we be
It's
honest?
granted, it's 4 games in, you know. But however,
82-game season.
I think that Tyson Chandler injury is big because
It's huge.
You need to be successful in this league. You need a big man in the center. You know, you need an anchor. You know, no matter what.
I think that trade to get Bargnani is going to help them. If this were last
But
year,
Bargnani doesn't rebound.
It'd be a much bigger
He's
deal than
soft,
last year,
but
because at least they have somebody that can play.
Pablo Prigioni has a higher rebound percentage than Bargnani does this year.
Right. Okay.
And then
Prigioni
they're
6'3".
26th in the league in rebounds. So
Well,
With
real
Chandler
quick,
out,
And
they're one
they're
rebounder.
they're going to go low.
real quick, are we ready to say that this is panic time? I don't think so.
No.
It's
I'm-
too
I'm-
early.
It's too early to panic.
Time,
It's too early to
but
panic.
there's got to be.
They're still
some
getting
concern.
J.R. Smith back. They're still getting J.R. Smith back. You know.
But
No, I agree. It's not. It's too early to judge anything, but you have to be concerned when you're losing to the Bobcats at home this past Tuesday. Like, come on.
It
man.
is
The
concerning
Bobcats-
now.
It's early to see. This is when this happens. The Heat lost to the Sixers.
I understand,
you know,
but now it's early that the best
Bobcats are
rebounder on their
awful.
team is Cole Aldrich, who was inactive for the past.
So are you guys
games.
saying that the Knicks are in big trouble here? Are they in serious trouble?
Right now, no, but they have the potential to be.
They
There's
could
reason
be.
for concern.
There's
I think-
reason for concern.
I think the offense
Is
should
that the
flourish.
conclusion? Is that? Can we agree? There's reason for concern,
I
but
think-
it's
I
too
think-
early. It's too
Yes.
early to panic. Or
I
are you-
think that
are you
hype,
hitting the
that
panic
positive
button?
energy, you
Not
know,
just
like,
yet.
it's all
Is
mismatched.
Teddy hitting the panic button? Are you freaking out?
Kind of, a little bit.
Oh,
Because Melo
man.
in the beginning of the season says he wants to get out of New York. Tyson gets
not what he said.
injured.
It's not what
Melo-
he said. That's not what he said.
What
He said he'd
what
be
does that
He said he
mean?
wants to be a
He
free
said
agent.
he
said he wants
he's
to retire.
doing what
He
he's
wants to
doing.
He
what
also
what
said he
was
wants to
told.
retire in Nick.
He's going to be with the Knicks.
But he said he wants
Relax.
to be a free agent, but he wants to
Everybody
retire.
relax.
How does
The
he
Knicks
know
are going to
what he wants to
disappoint
do?
you in the end of the season anyway.
All right.
Can we agree? It's
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I
they
think
gotta
it's
get
too
through the
early.
There we can
I-
agree.
I think it's too. I think it's too.
I'll
early.
say with Tyson Chandler out, their offense should flourish more because Woodson will be forced
have
into playing the lineups. But the defense, with Andrea Bargnani as your rim protector, I don't see how they play any sort of defense. I hope they can find a way, sign somebody, trade for somebody.
They'll win the way they did last year. They're going to outscore people. I think J.R. Smith.
I hope
coming
you're right.
back is
I
gonna
hope
help
they
them.
can
I
outscore
think
people.
J.R.
But right
Smith's
now
gonna
they're
help.
they're getting outscored
You
and
have
they're
to
getting
be
scored
hot.
on.
Like last year, they had Tyson. They had some defense, you know, and
They had
they
no
made it
defense.
rain, and that's when they flourished, you know. When they were,
We're 4 games in now. We're 4 games.
are
in.
4
We're going
games
with what
in.
we have.
We're 4 games in. We're going with what we have. It's a little too early to panic. We're talking. This is the end of the third. That'll do it for the third quarter. We're coming back with more NBA in the fourth. Stay tuned.
Yeah, the Knicks got some team. You know, Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire. I can't even think about that. How's it going, guys? I know here on UA Double Overtime we're a sport-related show, but today I want to talk about our youth. And a big problem with our youth today is marijuana. But what I want to know is, does our youth have the strength to say no?
UA Overtime, #1 in sports and #1 in fighting the war on drugs.
Welcome back. We're talking more NBA. It's early on in the season, as we mentioned last quarter, but there's a lot of things we're excited about. We're happy basketball's back. Teddy, what do you want to kick us with?
you know what? I gotta, of course, gotta mention the big man, number 12, Dwight Howard, losing to his former team. Tough loss. Steve Blake hitting that clutch game winner. But what I want to mention is another big man. He's great, but he flies under the radar because he's in Minnesota. Kevin Love is putting up studly numbers once again. 26 points per game, 15 rebounds. I know it's early, but he's got to be in the MVP.
Lead by 12.
Not much from Powell, James, but right here we see the nice lob on the backdoor screen. Look at that. Great catch and finish by Johnson.
Great pick by Steve Nash right there.
Terrible.
Nice pick, Johnson.
How terrible that defense. You saw on that final play where Steve Blake hit the game-winning three.
Got it. Got to change your pick and roll coverage. Can't let him come off and have the open look.
All right. Failed to rotate under him. He had a wide open
driving. Finish.
That's the thing to look out for.
Rockets trail. Under 3 seconds right here. Steve Blake catch and finish.
Going to finish in the top 3 in the MVP voting if I had to predict early on. But I like that Timberwolves team. I think with that nucleus of Rubio and Pekovic and Kevin Love and adding Kevin Martin, all those supplementary pieces, that is going to be, I think, a playoff team and a team to watch out for as the season
I think the
moves
West
forward.
is really fun this year. I think
the West is going to be a lot of
fun.
fun.
The West is so wide open. Yeah. I think the East, there's 5 powerful teams that there's 4 that can challenge the Heat. The West, I think they're interchangeable.
The East, I think the East, I mean, they have those top 4 teams, and then they have the Knicks, and then they have the drop-off in talent of 6 through 9. But I think there's going to be a good competition level between 6 through 9.
Right, no, but
not as competitive.
I'm saying, though, in terms of who can win the West, I think who can win the East, it's like the Heat and everybody else. Out West, you can name 6, 7 teams I think have a real shot at going to the finals.
Injury. We saw it last year when Westbrook went down. The Thunder in the playoffs shot down like crazy.
Exactly.
So you never know. One thing happens, it's unpredictable.
You never know.
Well, the team that I think has the best chance in the East right now are the 5-0 Pacers. They look like they're coming right off of the loss to the Heat in the playoffs, and they look like an even better team now. Paul George has stepped up, and he's looking like one of the best players in the league, and he deserves credit. He's carrying that team along with Stevenson, who's getting a lot of playing time, Hibbert, who's just playing as well as he did back in the playoffs, and now the Pacers look like real contenders. I think that they can really challenge the Heat. The Heat have been struggling a little bit. They're still 4-2, but I like Indiana's chances a lot, and I think that's
the best chance in the East to beat the Heat.
Right now, got size.
I think right now I have my doubts as to how hard Miami is exerting themselves right now.
Exactly.
But if anybody's going to take them down, Indiana is my pick.
In the East, because in a 7-game series, they can bully them around a little bit. Yeah. Well, let's talk about who was last night. I know this was early, but this was a topic on ESPN. Could the Clippers get to the finals, and could this be a Heat-Clippers final, or is that a potential finals preview?
Could they get there? Of course they can.
Definitely a potential, but like I said before, last week I was talking about how the Pacers are a contender, or 2 weeks ago, are a contender in the East for the Heat, the #1 contender. I think they might even potentially could become the best team in the East, and the best team in the NBA. At the rate that they're going right now, with Roy Hibbert, just the absolute anchor, Paul George killing it, Danny Granger, everybody, that whole team together, they're out for a vengeance. They're gunning for the Heat.
That'd be great for the NBA because it would finally be like another like Spurs type team, that like the small market team that they don't have like that big star, but they have a real team.
Exactly.
A real team. And I think it's going to depend on how Danny Granger continues to accept coming off the bench.
Or if they move him.
If they move him. Because if they get a point guard for Danny Granger.
They definitely need a point guard. But back to your question, can the Clippers do it? Of course they can. I think the West is that wide open that you really can't bet against somebody as good as the Clippers.
They've got a good starting five.
It's going to come down to, late in those games when they were just hacking Blake Griffin, can he hit some of those free throws? Which I think will be a big deal for the Rockets, too, because in the playoffs they're going to hack
You saw the Lakers do it last night.
Well,
it was hacking
Howard
couldn't hit him.
blew it on his free throws.
Exactly.
5 for 12.
So I think those are 2 serious contenders. Real quick, I just want to talk about my boy Steph Curry. Please don't be hurt again with an ankle injury. Please. You're the funnest player to watch in the NBA. You guys Steph Curry fans?
Yes.
What about real quick, what do we think of the Golden State Warriors? Are they contenders in the West?
Oh, definitely.
Contenders in the
League
West?
pass team, contenders in the West.
Contenders?
Oh, yeah.
Can they win?
I agree. Iguodala catching those. Yeah. Bam!
Saw that. Alrighty. So that's it. For the 4th quarter, we'll catch you in. Oh, what's up?
I think dunk contest.
Dunk contest. We're taking dunk
Iguodala,
contest.
man.
Iggy?
Back in it again.
Iguodala, please do the dunk contest. That's it for the 4th quarter. We'll see you in overtime. We're talking a little college football.
Get well soon, Steph.
College experience is
finding something you love and learning everything about it.
Putting yourself up to new experiences.
Passion.
The college experience is
freedom. Getting to know people.
You learn to live, love, and grow.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Doing your own thing.
Taking the pieces of you and putting it together.
Making new friends, making connections.
Accomplish so that you can help others.
Moving out the house.
Learning.
Growing into yourself.
Getting ready to make some money. cash money.
Understanding more about yourself, because when you go through it, you see who you really are.
Want to party, go have fun? That's the college experience.
More homework this week.
Just partying.
Getting involved.
Learning how to save the hard way.
Being independent.
College experience is whatever you make it.
Welcome back. We're here in overtime talking some college football. Last night we had a wacky one. Stanford beat up Oregon for the second year in a row. We're going to talk about what that has to do with the BCS and how the rest of the year might shake out. John, what do you think? What do you think of last night? What do you think of the BCS? Who's gonna play Alabama in the title game?
You said it, second year in a row. Oregon really disappointing after averaging, 50 points all season long on offense. I'd love to say it was surprising, but it really, after what we've seen last year in Oregon in big games, not really.
Beat speed by pounding on it.
Yep. And
that's
it
what
worked.
Stanford does.
I have to agree with John, man. Oregon is not putting up the same numbers as they were last year or in previous years. Stanford held them until the fourth quarter, until that spurt of 20 points, but they still couldn't capitalize. You know, like Tyler Gaffney, the running back from Stanford, rushed for 157 yards and a touchdown. You know, like when that's I don't know. Like, Oregon looks a little tough this year. They lost Chip Kelly in that high power offense. You know, getting like 50 plays. Whatever it was, you know.
The way it's structured right now, I think this loss moves them almost completely out of the championship race. And if I had to pick a team to
I think Alabama's probably going to be back there.
I think you're right. I think if there's going to be a team that can match up with them and that'll get there, it's Florida State.
Florida State.
If they can,
What
they can run the ACC table.
You know, it was a disappointing loss for Oregon. Stanford knows them well. They played them well. But the fact that they beat them now means they're not going to be in the championship. I think Florida State has the best chance. They don't look like they're going to lose any game for the rest of the year. Jameis Winston has that team going. They were averaging over 50 points a game, and their defense is stellar. They came into Clemson and destroyed them. I think that
if they get there, I think you know who the Heisman.
And they have a chance.
A few weeks ago, we picked our Heisman favorites. I think now Jameis Winston.
Yes.
If they're undefeated,
if
I
they
think
run that
he's in the
table,
driver's
it's
seat for
hands
the
down.
Heisman.
I don't think you can argue against them.
Right.
Hey, don't count on Stanford though. I mean, this win against Oregon is huge.
So are we unanimous? Are we unanimous? Florida State is going to play.
I'm saying Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Who you got? Alabama. Are we unanimous? Alabama is going to run the table.
Oh yeah,
I think Alabama.
They're basically.
I think they're allowing 9 points a game.
They're an NFL team. I think they got a challenge this week against LSU, but they're going to take care of business.
They just recycled draft picks. You know. Come to Alabama, you go to the NFL.
Yeah.
Nick Saban's going to be going like this soon.
So it'll be
when he's the head coach of Texas.
Yes.
So you guys heard it here first. It's Bama, Florida State in the BCS national title game. 4 of us said it, so it's a fact now.
Lock it in.
So we're going to head into final thoughts. I'm going to start us off. Last night, Oregon lose for a second year in a row to Stanford. Stanford, a program run the right way by the best coach in college football, David Shaw. They don't do anything flashy. They just win games by blocking, tackling, and playing smash-mouth football. The NFL fell in love with Chip Kelly last year, and they hired this guy because he runs the flashy offense. Well, last year when they lined up 11 on 11 and played football, Stanford smacked him in the mouth. They did it again with the flashy nonsense. Stanford lined up 11 on 11 and smacked him in the mouth. David Shaw deserves a ton of credit for continuing the tradition that Jim Harbaugh started at a high educational school. Stanford isn't known for its football, but now it's the best football program on the West. It's the Alabama of the West, which is striving to be. NFL coaches, NFL teams, there's going to be 4 or 5 of you at least that need a head coach. If you don't call David Shaw, I want to know why. David Shaw is the best coach in college football. Teddy, what you got for us?
Solid points, Steve. I'm going to go back to the NBA and my New York Knicks. The next 10 games, 6 out of the next 10 games are on the road against teams with studly big centers. Remember, Tyson is out. I gotta have hope for them, but I don't know what's gonna happen. They need to get quality wins. They need to get W's in a up and coming, more competitive East.
Johnny,
can you say Mayor Poppy? Folks in Boston were this close. David Ortiz, after winning the World Series MVP award, finished 3rd in the Boston mayoral race, all because of write-ins, because he obviously wasn't on the ballot. The exact numbers weren't released, but there were 256 write-ins total, and enough of those were enough to place David Ortiz 3rd in the Boston race. Maybe in 4 years, Poppy.
Hey, 2017,
That'll be the
you never
day.
know. Carl, what do you got for us?
Great final thoughts, guys. I'm going to bring this one a little more close to home. Tonight, UAlbany's men's and women's basketball teams are opening against Siena at the Times Union Center. I wish them the best of luck on their seasons, and I'm looking forward to some great games tonight. Go Danes.
All right, go Danes. Go Danes. That'll do it for another episode of UA Overtime. See you soon.